All right, we are recording.
Hello, little guy.
Hi.
Okay, so did we want to start with our names?
Mhm.
Well, I am Kelsey Kind.
I'm Diana Alcocer. And I'm Diana Klepford. So I kind of was thinking that this week we could, so I went and picked 3 questions from each of the reflective questions for the reading. And I kind of thought we could go over those. But I was kind of see if anybody has any questions about like the family life thing they want to talk about first. Yes, I have a question. I was wondering if we have to cite it all the PowerPoints we're given in the workshop. I had that doubt. Do you know? If everything has to be cited, every single word we post there? I think with PowerPoints, you just need a reference at the end of the PowerPoint. I don't know. That's how ours is set up. I don't know if I have.
I think it's okay. I mean, as long as you say where the reference is coming from, like maybe, saying where the idea is coming from, if that's poignant to what you're talking about, that's really helpful. And then, like Diana said, at the end, have all the references and have them connected. You know how like in books, like they'll put like numbers after certain things, and then at the very end you can go and like look them up. I think in a PowerPoint you can kind of do that as well. That might be helpful. Um, but yeah, it should be cited one way or another because they need to know where it's from, and they need to know that you legitimately have a reference there, and it's not just something you're making up.
Yeah, because we cited some of our slides from the certain point until down, but the first probably 10 slides we didn't post, we didn't cite it with anyone, and we had like 53 of them. So I was wondering.
Slides or 53 citations?
For the whole 4 hours workshop.
Oh.
You see, I'm giving it one session, 4 hour, 2 breaks. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're gonna need to cite all of it. So.
Okay. Thanks for the help.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions anybody has?
I don't think so. Okay.
So the first question that we have is, why is it important to have a clear understanding of your vision and the program goals and objectives for your family life education program before assessing the program?
I actually really liked that question. When we have a goal in mind, it makes, and this is kind of what came to me, like when we have a goal in mind, it doesn't matter how we get there, as long as we've gotten there. And I think that kind of goes into the circular ideation of the lesson plan. So I'm very structured. I'm like, we need to do point A, point B, point C, and this is how we're going to get to our goal X. But I think when we have that goal in mind, I think we can kind of break that necessary the ABC and try and teach more towards what they need instead of everything that we think they need. So.
Yeah, I think it's important to know where you're going, and if you don't know, where you're going, you'll never get there. So I think we have to set, everything first, objectives, have goals. And if you're working with someone, I was linking with the second question, I was answering in my outline that as I was working with Shirley, she was having an idea of the worship, and I was having another idea of the worship. So we tried to talk it over, and do it a little bit like I would think I was thinking, and a little bit how she was thinking, and mixing up a little, about our both ideas, and that was to have something that we liked, like both have, because we're a couple and we're doing it together. So I read that some people work as a team, doing some education as having a team and working with others. So everyone needs to know what is going on, what are the goals and objectives of that kind of education, or whatever, either workshop or whatever is. So having all set up and everyone knows where we're going, it's important.
Yeah, I really like that. And I think that, like, with that, if not everybody knows where you're going and you're not all agreed on what you're doing and what, like, the vision and the goal should be, then the stuff that ends up getting presented can be, like, all over the place. Because, like, we're doing a sex education class, but if we had two different goals and objectives in mind, and then we both tried to present at the same time, like, it wouldn't work out. We'd be either contradicting each other or confusing the audience, and it just wouldn't be effective.
Oh, you're right. It would be very negative for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
The next one is, how can the Family Life Education Code of Ethics strengthen your practice and the relationship with those whom you teach?
I think when people have boundaries, I think other people feel safe. So if they know that we go by a code of ethics, that there's certain things we can and can't do, and there's also certain things that we need to strengthen and certain things we need to do, I think that gives them more confidence in us as family life educators. They won't think that we're just willy-nilly teaching them because we can or because we want to. They're going to see that that we are following the rules and following the guidelines. And I also think the ethics are really helpful and necessary, because I feel like there's a very fine line between family life education and family therapy. And I think if we're not careful, we can cross that line, and we could overstep, like, our credentials almost. Because people, they're credentialed to be family therapists, and they do something else other than family life educators. So I think having that code of ethics is very helpful. It helps us build strong relationships while also being helpful, and then it also gives us rules and a few barriers to go by, so that we're safe, they're safe, and we can accomplish our goals together.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kelsey. And I was thinking, we need to practice. How would we express to audience those boundaries and those ethic rules in a very sensitive and caring way, so they don't feel, they don't feel bad because we're not trying to help them, or we are seeing they are really in need, and we don't care enough to tell them what to do. Some people might be going through a crisis and might feel that we are, so stuck up that we don't want to help them, or we didn't tell them in a caring way. You know what I'm saying? I think just as anyone goes through that, anyone can go through that experience. So it's good to know what to do when that experience comes, and be prepared what to say, how to say it, because we don't want to hurt feelings of people. You know, that's an idea I was thinking of.
Yeah, I love that because I think that sometimes people maybe don't do it intentionally, but they think that we know more than we do. And so when we're like, oh, that's outside of my professional realm, like they're hurt because they think we just don't want to help them, when really it's just not a good idea for us to help them. And I just like, I don't know, I love the Code of Ethics because I think we sign the Code of Ethics in this program. I think you sign it like one of the first classes you take. And I remember reading it like way back then, and I thought it was so cool because it protects you as an educator, and I think it really protects the people you're trying to teach. And I especially love the focus on children. Like, I like how it tells you to, you know, be respectful of families and cultures and relationships. But like a huge part of family life education is making sure that like you're doing all you can to protect kids. And I thought that was just super cool. And I think that when people see that you're about the family and you're like trying to protect their kids, they're gonna trust you more.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I also want to kind of add on to that just a tad bit before we move on to the next question. I think I really like what you said, Diana, there, that we're, you know, when we show them that we're about the family and that we're trying to help the family and help kids and you know, build that relationship, I think they do trust us. And I also like that they want us to build a relationship with the parents, because I think as a family life educator, we could probably put, I mean, with everything that we've read, there's so like it's very easy to blame them for things, or it's very easy for us to make them feel like they're not doing a good job, or that they're not doing well in their marriage, they're not doing well as parents, they're not doing well as whatever reason. And I think, and that's not our point. Like, our point is not to make them feel inferior or worthless. Our point is to boost them, give them confidence, and maybe use some new skills that they can try out at home so that they can bring their marriage and family into more harmony. So I think when they see that code of ethics and know that we follow those, I think that would build a strong relationship, and they know that what we're saying does not come from a judgmental person. It's coming from someone who really truly wants people to be the best they can be.
Yeah, that's good. So our attitude, or I posted, well, I wrote down here that we have to have a caring, acceptance, and understanding feelings towards the people we're teaching. Mm-hmm. And those have to be very, very frequently present in our, you know, education and teaching process. Even though we had a bad day or we argue with our husband or whatever at home, we need to have that in mind.
Yeah, I really like both of those points. That's awesome. So the last question says, what is your role and responsibilities in working with families as a family life educator? If you had to choose 3 words that best describe the role of family life education, what would they be?
I wrote prevention, education, and families. I love prevention. I am a fan of prevention. I rather prevent through, you know, find remedies for bad things. So that's why I like to teach young single adults. I like to prevent them before they divorce. So that's something I like.
Yeah, I think prevention is one of like my biggest things too. Like and that was even before this class. But with this class, I think a lot of family life educators are about prevention. Because by the time they get to that point, um, you're no longer needed. Prevention is no longer needed. You're now moving into family therapy and even family case management. Like you're not past the point of return. Like you can still do better. And obviously those classes can help, but I think family life education is a lot about prevention. And one of the words that I actually put was not therapy. I think for me as a personally, I think for me it would be easy to try and be a therapist during a class. And that's something I have to remind myself, like, you're not a therapist. That's not your job. Your job is to teach. Your job is to answer questions, but also to know when you no longer have the answer, or you no longer have the means to answer a question or to help somebody, like, and then also having that knowledge to say, hey, like, I know somebody who can help you with that, or hey, like, if you go talk to this person, or let me help you with this, or something. Like, I think having that knowledge is important. And I put families in there as well. Families, and then I put in there, it builds, skill building. A lot of that is building the skills of parents, of marriage, of husbands and wives. And I think family life educators are to help us, not only give us the facts, but also help us know how to put those facts into work in our lives. So.
Yeah, I really like that. I like what you said about like giving them the resources. Like, I know someone that can help you with that, because one of the things that I put was like in my ways to describe family life education was that it's a support system, and then it creates healthy societies. Because I really feel like in a therapy session, like, yeah, a therapist is your support and your family's in there, or you're in there with your therapist. But I feel like in a family life education class, there's a lot more diversity and a lot more people. And when you go to those classes, like, I feel like there's a lot of support there because you're all there for the same thing. And you can openly, like, work with each other and build on each other's ideas. And like, you're not broken yet, so you can be like, oh, well, what do you do? Like, my family does this. Oh, yeah. So I feel like it's a great support group where you can find, additional ideas from not just the teacher, but from the people that are around you. And then when it comes to, like, roles and responsibilities, as the educator, I feel like you need to make sure that you're presenting reliable research, and that you're trying to present everything in, like, an unbiased way. I don't think it's appropriate to ever attack anybody for anything, because if you make the parents feel like they're under attack, or if you make the teenagers feel like they're under attack, or the young single adults, they're going to zone you out and they don't want to listen anymore because they just feel like there's nothing they can do. And so I feel like you have to make sure that they feel like you're there to actually help them, not tell them that they're terrible people and they need to do all these things.
Yeah, that's good. That was good. I was thinking something and I forgot. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember now. I like that you said that we're supposed to give facts that are reliable facts, from reliable sources. And one of the things that Sister Dilworth corrected us was that we were given the information at a very high level to our audience. And she said that we should give the worship as we are teaching, our friend, probably, or teenager level, so we can, we can pass through the information so it will be understandable. Because she was telling us, if you said what you found out what you found out in your research at the very high level, no one will understand except you and scientific people. But you have to lower down the level of your way of talking to them. And she said sometimes you don't even understand what these scientific people say, because they have their own kind of language. So if you don't understand it, don't use it. And I like that, because I really find some things that I don't understand myself. But when I find something very useful or very helpful, I try to put it in my words and give it to the people on the workshop. So that was very helpful, that we need to remember that people don't have the kind of language we're a little bit used to understand, because we are in college and we are studying and we are kind of use of that kind of language. But those people aren't. They're not in college and they're not reading what we are reading. So we need to put the information at their level. That's what I was trying to say.
I definitely like that. I think that's a great point to make, because it's so true. Like what comes out of our mouths we think makes sense, and then when you put it in front of an audience, they're like, "Wait, what?" So I think that's very true. It's very important that we say it in words that other people can understand. And like you said, I like that too. Like talking to them as they were like your friend. Like you talk to your friends differently than you would, I guess, to a scientific researcher. So I think those are valid points. I really like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've gone to speeches where the speaker was trying to impress everybody with the words they knew. And even though I understood most of them, I thought it was really obnoxious that they decided to use such high vocabulary instead of just teaching or talking about what they wanted to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, this is true.
Is there any other thoughts or questions or ideas that anybody wanted to bring up?
No.
No, I'm
I think we went through everything, mostly.
Well, good luck, Diana, on your class. I think this is our last one together, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good luck on your class. I hope you do good. That'll be.
And good luck to you.
Thanks.
And how do you feel? Do you feel a little nervous?
Yes.
Yeah. This is not my strong suit. Like, I'm gonna be a therapist just so I don't have to, nerve-wracking to have to talk to somebody for 2 hours and present research and not sound like an idiot. And so,
but you will do fine. Yeah. You'll do fine. You have a good helper there.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, Kelsey is good talking.
Yeah, she's a lot better, I think, than I am at that. It's not my, like, I can put stuff together and I can write papers, but
I'm a good rambler. I can ramble really like really well. My when I was learning how to teach on my mission, what my very first companion, what she told me was, no, sorry, the elders told me this. They said, if you have nothing to talk about, start writing on the board. It takes up time and it takes attention away from what you're saying. And I was like, oh, that's great, I'll use that. And so yeah, used to like saying okay. And anyway, I'm by no means very good at it. I enjoy teaching, but I'm actually very nervous as well. So we'll
I am nervous too. I don't feel very prepared for 4 hours, marathon.
Yeah, I'm super surprised you're doing 4 hours. I was like, oh man, that's gonna be a lot, but no, you got it. Like you're gonna be fine. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. I'm trying to look for some videos and doing some activities so we can, have a little fun there. We're doing an ice breaker, and that kind of will help me, get my nerves settled down.
Hey, I like that. I like that icebreaker idea. That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we'll do fine with the teaching. I just am kind of worried, like, if people will come.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
probably,
think they will, but at the same time, I'm like, oh man, what if something happens and nobody can show up? And
yeah. I've already in my head. I've already picked what I'm going to make them come, and that's good. I'm just be like, okay, so this is when this is happening. I've got to do it for school. I've got to have at least 3 people that aren't family. So please. So maybe at least we'll have 3 people that aren't family, but yeah, it's nerve-wracking.
Well, you can ask someone to pick them up and make sure they are there.
Yeah.
So at least if you have 3 people, you're done with it. I was afraid that young single adults won't come to the next workshop. So that's why, and if I start with one topic and then the other part of the workshop won't understand because I already started with the topic. So that's why I plan to do it just at once. And it will be on Sunday, so hopefully everything goes good. Well, it was nice meeting you.
Yeah, see you too, Deanna. You have fun and let us
Okay.
know how it goes.
Okay. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.